after training so many people online, I have heard so many reasons why someone can't stay on a diet. Either the amount of food is not enough for them, or the type of food they're not allowed to eat. Like they can't live without this certain type of food that I tell them not to eat. And you know, they think that it's always because they're not eating enough, or they think that because their body needs this other food that they're craving. But there are a whole lot of reasons for hunger, and most of them have nothing at all to do with your diet. So I'm going to go over for some of these other reasons why you might be too hungry to stay on your diet. And something that I, always like to talk about is meal timing, okay? People say, oh, it doesn't matter, how often you eat, if it's one big meal or a bunch of small meals. It just matters is like the calories and the foods and the macronutrient ratios you take in over the day. That may be true, but the fact of the matter is, if I skip meals, I get really hungry. If I get really hungry, I have usually two things. One of two things or both of them in my head. A, eat something I shouldn't be eating, or B, eat more than I should be eating, okay? Now, if I wake up in the morning and I eat the food, okay, one meal, and then I eat another meal a couple hours later, or even if I'm just eating, not 6 times a day, just 3 times a day, I eat breakfast, I eat lunch, whether I'm hungry or not, and I eat dinner, I'm never really hungry, okay? It's kind of like sometimes if you go shopping, when you're hungry and you buy a whole bunch of stuff you don't want or need, it's like you're just hungry, starving, you're not thinking properly, okay? And it's the same thing here. Eat your breakfast, eat your lunch. If you say you're gonna eat every few hours, then eat every few hours. Do not wait until you're starving, hungry to eat, because by that time you're already looking for reasons, looking for excuses to eat something that you shouldn't be eating or to eat too much, okay? So just by eating before you're hungry, you will prevent binging and cheating on your diet. All right, people are really like Pavlov's dogs, It's like you ring a bell, the dog salivates. You come home, what do? The first thing you look in the refrigerator. You do a good job at work, what do? You treat yourself with some junk food, okay? The first time that I heard about this, it was in Steve Reeves' book, okay? Steve Reeves was like the original Arnold Schwarzenegger, the original movie Muscle Man who played Hercules, pirates, stuff like that. And he wrote a book and he said, listen, if you have the habit that when somebody comes to visit you, you take out the coffee and the cake and the pies, that's an unhealthy habit, okay? Now that's kind of like a grandma thing, that he fought in World War II, he's generations ago. But let me see it like this, could you watch television without eating junk food? Can you sit down in a restaurant and eat something that fits your diet, or the amount of food that fits your diet, or just drink something and watch somebody else eat all kinds of junk food? Okay, people are really conditioned in certain situations to eat, and you really need, basically, the bottom of the line is you need to tell yourself, are you a dog? Do you reward a dog by giving him a treat? Are you a dog that needs to be rewarded every time you do a good job by eating something you shouldn't be eating? Little kids come home and look in the refrigerator and look for cookies and stuff like that in the cupboard. Are you a little kid or are you an adult? Do you have your life under control or not? So like I said, think to yourself, what are like these triggers that cause you to eat? Every time I go out, I need to eat. Every time I go to the movies, I need to eat crap. Every time that somebody comes by, I need to order a pizza and sit down and eat a pizza with him. Are you eating because you're hungry, because you're not taking in enough nutrients, or are you eating because you've conditioned your mind in this situation or at this time of day to eat something you shouldn't be eating? All right, you're bored. A lot of people eat like it's just a hobby. A lot of people eat because they're bored. Okay, a lot of people eat, I remember when I was, a kid, martial art, the big deal back then was like ninjas. And I remember there's this guy who wrote about being a ninja in a magazine. And he said, he was talking basically about people that collect calories like they're baseball cards or stamps. Calories aren't baseball cards. Potato chips aren't baseball cards. It's not your hobby to collect calories. You've eaten enough. Okay? Like, I can mathematically prove that you've taken in the calories and the nutrients you need. You've eaten enough. If you want to eat now, it's because it's a hobby of yours to just sit down and eat. And you know what? If you're going to get in shape, if you're going to be healthy, stay healthy, get healthy, you need a new damned hobby. Okay? Like I said, whatever it is, I mean, turn off the television, go for a walk at night, read a book, go to bed earlier. Okay? But the bottom line is, do not eat just for the sake of eating. Eat to fuel your body. There's a guy, I think his name was Skip LaCour. He was like a natural bodybuilder or something back in the day. And he used to have this thing, feed the machine. And he used to say, because somebody asked him, how can you stick to your diet all the time? He's like, hey, he's a natural bodybuilder. So he has to be very strict with his training, his recovery, his meals, everything. And he says, basically, he just convinced himself that he eats to fuel his body. Okay, he doesn't eat for fun. It's not a hobby. It's not a game. He eats to fuel his body. If his body needs it, he eats it, if he's hungry or not. If his body doesn't need it, he doesn't eat it, whether he's hungry or not. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, my major enjoyment in life comes from eating. Am I not supposed to have fun anymore? If your fun in life comes from eating, you have a problem. Okay, you might as well say, oh, I can't shoot heroin anymore. If somebody were to tell you, oh yeah, well, are you saying I can't have fun anymore? I need to get wasted every single day. You'd be like, dude, you're an alcoholic. You have a problem. Something's wrong. You need to fix this. Oh, you say I can't shoot heroin every day. I can't smoke weed every day. I can't, whatever every day. You'd be like, dude, you have a problem, man. It's like, your enjoyment in life should not come from a needle, should not come from a powder you snort in your nose. But the same people who say that about guys who drink, smoke cigarettes, smoke weed, smoke crack, whatever, they are the kind of people, if you tell them to go on a diet, oh, I can't eat cake anymore. That's, am I supposed to not have any enjoyment? Like, dude, you have a problem too, okay? First of all, do you have to eat not for fun, but just to, for a purpose? If you want to get in extremely good shape, whether you want to perform athletically at the highest level or your appearance you want to bring up to the highest level, yes, you do need to give up eating for fun and you need to eat just to fuel your body, first of all. And second, like I said, you really need, if you want to just be healthy, you need to get over this whole concept of being like a crackhead, like the only enjoyment of my life comes from eating. Okay, it's something you're going to have to replace with something else, like, hey, working out, going for a walk, hanging out with some of your friends who are fit and in shape, instead of hanging out with a bunch of losers in a bar getting wasted and smoking cigarettes, hanging out with a bunch of guys at Burger King just eating way the hell too much that you don't need to eat. You're thirsty. A lot of people who don't exercise and don't eat properly don't drink enough liquids, they don't drink enough water, okay? So a lot of times you think you're hungry, but you're really just thirsty, okay? So make sure you're constantly hydrated. And like I said, with eating several times a day, drink before you get thirsty. Drink before you get hungry. Don't wait until you're hungry and thirsty to start drinking and eating. Drink when you wake up in the morning, eat your meal, and start drinking water. So like I said, you are hydrated throughout the day, because a lot of times people, like I said, especially the ones who are not used to eating properly or working out, are like, they tend to be more dehydrated, they tend not to drink enough water as it is, and then when they get dehydrated, they mistake their thirst for hunger and start eating instead of drinking. You're tired, okay? Sugar, carbs, even fat, even like peanut butter and stuff like that, gives you a short burst of energy, okay? So a lot of times, for instance, I remember, seeing little kids like this. You see little kids, they're getting tired, and then all of a sudden it's like they're looking around for food. Why are they looking around for food? Because they don't want to go to bed. They want to stay awake, they're getting tired, they lack energy, so they want, some kind of food. It's like a little bump of, amphetamines or a little bump of Coke just to pick them up again. So a lot of times you're really tired and you want to eat just so you can stay awake. I've got an idea: sleep, okay? If you don't have anything to do, go to sleep. Okay? You probably need more sleep, especially if you're tired, you need more sleep than you're getting, so just go to sleep, okay? If you still have work to do, or if you still have something you need to take care of, organize your day better. Believe me, if you got some decent sleep and worked straight through the day and got all your stuff done one after another instead of wasting time, usually because you're tired, you would get more done, you would get more sleep, and you wouldn't be tired between the time when you're done with all of your work and the time that you have to go to sleep to get a sufficient amount of sleep. I hear this a lot. People, I went on the steak and eggs diet, which is high fat, low carb. You're not eating carbs, so you're getting the energy from fat. And then they'll say things like, man, I just don't have enough energy. I'm hungry all the time. I don't have enough energy. What are you eating? Oh, I'm eating pork instead of beef. Well, beef has a lot of fat in it. Pork does not have a lot of fat in it. Chicken does not have a lot of fat in it. Fish does not have a lot of fat in it. You cannot cut your carbs and then eat lean meat and expect to have the same energy because you need energy coming in from somewhere, okay? The steak and eggs diet, whole eggs, red meat, really high in fat. It gives you the proper amount of fat to get as much energy as you need. And like I said, a lot of times I see people, they cut the carbs out of their diet and they eat lean meat, which means they're not getting fat or carbs for energy, and then they wonder why they're hungry, okay? They wonder why they lack energy. So that's one of the reasons. You need to have an energy source. Usually it's either carbs and like a low-fat, high-carb diet, or fat in a high-fat, low-carb diet. Now, you might ask about my pure protein diet, okay? My pure protein diet is only if you're already fat adapted, and it's also only for a short amount of time, okay? So you have to be eating low carb, high fat, feel good, no lacks of energy, no keto flu or anything. You feel really good living off of fat, okay? Then you can cut down fat as well as carbs, and your body will take in more of your body fat for energy because you're eating less fat. And even then, I don't recommend you get less than 30% of your calories from fat. Okay, so like I said, that's one of the reasons, either A, cutting carbs and fat at the same time, or B, you go on the pure protein diet before your body's fat adapted, or C, you go on the pure protein diet and you don't make sure that you get at least 20 or 30% of your calories from fat, so you still have some energy source coming in from your diet. Okay. This is a possibility that maybe something is wrong with your diet. Maybe you're just taking in too few calories, okay? I mean, I'm doing a pretty brutal cut right now. I'm doing the pure protein diet. My goal weight is like 170 pounds. I'm taking in 1,700 calories. That's 10 calories per pound of body weight, lean goal body weight, okay? Now, let's say I were to, with my current form, current body, current energy expenditure, current activity level, muscle mass, whatever, I were to go ahead and say take in 800, 900, or 1,000 calories, okay? That would suck, okay? And you need to reduce the amount of calories you take in, but you still need, just like I said, you need an energy source, either fat or carbs. You also need a certain number of calories to fuel you, okay? So yes, there is a very small possibility that it actually is the diet. You truly are hungry, you truly are starving, okay? But like I said, if you've figured out your diet properly, or somebody figured your diet out properly for you, it's very, very, very unlikely that you're not getting in enough calories. Okay, and the final reason why it may be that you are hungry while you're on a diet is the diet's working, okay? For people who are used to eating for fun, out of boredom, in certain situations, for the people who are used to stuffing themselves full of bad, unhealthy food several times a day and continuing to stuff themselves, they don't understand the concept that when you're on a diet, you're eating less than you need, okay? When you're on a diet, you're not going to be stuffed, okay? You are not going to stuff yourself with food, and you may not even be 100% satisfied with the amount of food you're eating all the time. So sometimes you gotta bite the bullet and say, do you want to lose weight or not? If you want to lose weight, you've got to lose weight. You just can't eat as much food as you would if you don't care whether you lose weight or not. So yes, there is a possibility that you're just going to be hungry and you just have to deal with it, okay? It's, like I said, if this is a good diet, properly structured, okay, you're not actually like starving. You're not in an unhealthy state. But if you're constantly used to eating way the hell too much of way the hell the wrong foods, okay, the typical high calorie, high fat, high carb, low protein diet that so many unhealthy people are on, so many obese people are on, and all of a sudden you cut your calories from, like, let's say 5,500 calories to 1,500 calories, okay, and you cut 4,000 calories out, yeah, you're going to be hungry because you're used to stuffing yourself every day. So like I said, you know, face it. You're not going to be starving, but you're not going to be able to eat as much of everything that you want to eat, whenever you want to eat it, every time you want to eat it, and still lose fat. You've got to reduce the amount of calories you take in, even if that means that you're eating less than you would like to.